Hello, everyone. This is Tyler here, once again, here in Mexico. So, some quick clarification on the job situation. I mentioned how the trades, or more of sector, the skilled trade sector jobs, are some of the only decent options that I see currently in the US that are still viable for most, at least modestly talented men in the US. And that this is something that I really witnessed when I was in South Dakota. Now, keep in mind, and where I was staying at the shelter, not everyone was unemployed. There were some people that were getting like disability payments. Some people were underemployed. But one of the common factors I saw was that guys aimed very low as far as like just looking for, say, retail sector, some kind of lower skilled sector job. And I would encourage these people to look at other areas, like whether it be in the trade areas. A lot of colleges, you can get FAFSA, financial aid. In some cases, you can actually get paid while going through like training programs, whether that be for electrical, HVAC, truck driving, etc. And yes, no question, are these areas perfect? Absolutely not. There's going to be faults in all areas. One other area, though, that I didn't mention, and I almost hate saying this because of the kind of person I am, is government sector jobs. When you look at like where a lot of them, like the GDP growth, and when we see these statistics, they're so manipulated. The data, it's so grossly inaccurate. Oftentimes, it might be federal, state level government jobs actually where a huge percentage of that job growth is. Literally, jobs that are being created to assist a lot of the legals, at least last year until Trump came into office. And this is a number that a lot of people don't realize. I was actually watching a channel. I believe his last name is Baldonaro, and he's pretty big on YouTube. He's based in Florida, and he's actually mentioned this in a few of his videos. So all these state and federal government jobs, which also there's a class of them where you're like contract based, and that's common like in the Department of Education. These kind of jobs, there's a surplus of if you just need something that like pays you immediately and you have a degree, you can typically get one of these jobs. Are these jobs going like get you rich? Are they going to really take you to that next level? Absolutely not. I mean that's most definitely not the case. But those all these government jobs is one area that I had omitted. But going back to the first point I made is that's that these a lot of these trade sectors, you also have to look at the niche that you're going into, the state that you're going to be based in. And there's no question that you need to have some business, some marketing, sales skills. This is just a requirement now in many industries in the US. And this is no exception. Yeah, if you let yourself be categorized or you don't sell yourself well enough, yeah, you could be really shortchanged. And this is actually one of the reasons why when a lot of these women complain about jobs and they were getting paid less than male counterparts because they don't have these kind of skills often, or they don't make any effort to make these kind of changes. And that's just a fact of the matter. So when it comes to looking at the job market, as I said, and I would tell guys that I was with, don't shortchange yourself. Yeah, can everyone do skilled labor type of jobs? Absolutely not. But some people can. And you don't want to get kind of in this warehouse, this retail, these jobs that are in some cities plentiful, but they suck, and they're not going to set you up. And the misconception, I see this a lot, especially with the black communities and maybe other non-white communities, is this ideal that there's a lot of these good, cushy, mid-management, white-collar jobs out there, which is simply not the case. And anyone here that came from a working class background, whether white, black, Hispanic, Asian, and they believe this, yes, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, this was the case. But these jobs now, they rarely exist. And you can be darn sure if you're not a woman, I'll be frank about this, you're going to be last in line for them to even interview you. So that's another thing that I'll hear people mention. Now, when you read, sometimes guys will bring up having XYZ office job. These are probably like people that have like CPAs, like a certified public accountant. They're in some kind of specific legal law area. They're in some kind of specific professional slash licensed area where, yes, they're going to spend most of their time in an office setting, but there's probably all these qualifications that were in conjunction. We are not in the era like my folks where, yeah, the boomers, a lot of these guys could go out and get these pretty cushy mid-management level jobs, didn't need a lot of expertise experience. The competition was much lower. Just think also, in the 70s and 80s, men weren't competing against women like they are nowadays. Huge factor that a lot of the boomers don't bring up. And they also weren't competing against Bao Bao or Miguel or against all these other nationalities for these types of jobs. So that's another big disclaimer I bring up now to people. Don't just think, oh yeah, I can just get one of these cushy jobs. That's probably not a wise way to think. Excuse me. The way to think is that you want to focus on a specific niche and or focus on a specific trade, build upon that, and potentially start your own business or company in that kind of field. And that, my friends, is what's going to set you up. So give me your feedback below, and thank you.